Good evening. I'm Trish Williford. Thank you for joining us. We are learning new information about that deadly suicide bombing during a wedding reception in Afghanistan. Former South Carolina Governor and former Congressman Mark Sanford is still considering running against President Trump for the GOP primary. In an interview today on Meet the Press, Sanford said Trump doesn't deserve to be reelected because he says the president is taking the country in the wrong direction. The New Orleans community is remembering the life of veteran news anchor Nancy Parker. And tonight, the NTSB is still investigating what led to the plane crash that killed Parker and a stunt pilot on Friday. Well, you know, many of you are about to sit down and eat your dinner, but you might want to pause for just a second before you eat your salad. Here's why.
Oh my God, it's literally alive. Don't do that, Gordon. Oh my God.
Yikes, this Wisconsin family had a very unwelcome guest show up just in time for dinner. In other news tonight, it's a one-of-a-kind tennis tournament specifically designed for players bound to a wheelchair. And as News 3's Alex Bozargian reports, not even the rain could stop these players during today's Savannah Slam.
Just because they're in a wheelchair, we're like everybody else.
A wild scene outside of Atlanta where a police officer is recovering tonight. He was dragged down a highway by a suspect who drove away from a traffic stop. All of it caught on dash cam video. NBC's Morgan Chesky shows us those shocking moments. Well, tonight the party is over in Beaufort. Organizers of the Beaufort Water Festival are cleaning up right now after more than a week of activities and concerts. And they say this was a record year that brought in more visitors and more dollars. Around Florida, a dramatic hit and run involving a police officer, and it was caught on video. It happened Friday when the officer spotted a man who was driving recklessly. The officer pulled him over and asked him to get out of the vehicle. And then this happened.
A Tennessee teenager's good deed is making the rounds on social media.
Her selfless gesture tops our look at what's trending tonight. Well, we noticed a few council members gasping as Chief Mentor talked about these crimes. Not necessarily the number of them, but the age of the suspects involved. Some troubling numbers from Savannah's top cop. Right now, Barry is making its way farther into western Louisiana. Rising floodwaters have caused many people to evacuate. Some frightening moments for a deputy in Florida. When Tropical Storm Barry was churning in the Gulf on Friday, that deputy was injured trying to help a boater in distress. Happening now, the FAA is on the scene of a deadly plane crash on St. Simon's Island. The pilot was killed. Now, that plane originated from Savannah this morning. Well, the heat is on here in the coastal Empire and Low Country, and whether you love it or hate it, the hot temperatures can be dangerous.
In tonight's health report, Meredith Wood explains the health risks and shares some advice for beating the heat.
Well, there is one burglar who has people hoping that their house will be next.
Everybody's talking about this. Let's just say he made a very clean getaway. That story and more ahead in What's Trending.
She is joining us live now from downtown Savannah with our top story at 6.
Yeah, you won't find any horses on Savannah streets until 7 tonight. It's just too hot, and leaders don't want to take any chances.
He's one of my favorite chickens because all of them is special in their own way.
For some, it might be a dog or even a favorite blanket that helps make life a little bit easier. But for 11-year-old Marianne Shira, her beloved chickens and roosters make her smile.
And he's flying away.
Marianne has a terminal disease known as Friedreich ataxia. It's a disease that attacks the central nervous system. The family says their orthopedic doctor prescribed chickens to help with her emotional and physical therapy. The family has 10 of them, but now they may be forced to get rid of them.
City inspector came out and saw that we had chickens. I sat there and said, yes, we have chickens. They're part of my daughter's physical therapy. She chases them around the yard as part of, building up her muscle strength for her yards, plus she enjoys eating the eggs. Well, we had the city inspector out several times when we did a home renovation last year. They saw the coop. They saw the coop during the previous 2 times and never once said anything about us needing a permit for it.
According to the Hinesville City Ordinance, fowls are not allowed on a property if it becomes a nuisance or creates an unsanitary condition in the neighborhood.
At this point, the case is ongoing, but we have received complaints about they've become a nuisance to residents in the area.
But Marianne's family says the roosters and chickens bring her comfort at a time when she needs it the most.
They want us to get rid of the coop and want us to get rid of the chickens. And we told them we're not going to. It's all about her happiness as she continues to fight this condition.
Well, according to Rock Hill Police, Reinhardt was slowly pushing the stroller with his baby inside, but officers say when they arrived on the scene to question him, they say they found the crack right up top. Did you shoot him? Have you been charged with anything? Mr. Cromartie, I'm just going to ask you just point blank. Did you kill Mr. Blanks? Did you kill your wife?
No, I did not.
He's a pastor surrounded by death. Embarrassing?
Very, yeah.
Kevin Hughes says he's not only embarrassed, but felt as if he was out of his mind when he walked inside this TKK Walmart in the middle of the night wearing nothing but these black shoes. These were the shoes that you had on?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was about it?
That was it, I guess.
Hughes explained to Eyewitness News why he walked into the store completely naked. What was going on?
I've had a problem with drugs in the past. I still like to do some ecstasy once in a while. I accidentally got methamphetamine instead, and it really made me crazy.
TKK police were called to the Walmart on Stonecrest Boulevard just before midnight last night after they say store employees spotted Hughes walking around in the health and beauty section naked. When police arrived, they say they found Hughes in the electronics section of the store. When you were in Walmart, did you realize that you were naked?
I did once I got in there. I mean, I got some weird looks, obviously.
Police quickly escorted him out. Hughes says the last thing he remembers is going to sleep at his sister's house last night. The next thing he knew, he was waking up naked in his truck at Walmart. He hopped out and walked right into the store. Police say you may have been looking for clothes.
Yeah, I think that was the first thing I asked for.
Does it make you think twice now about doing drugs?
Right, absolutely. Yeah, you can't trust anything anymore.
The 36-year-old spent the night in jail. Tonight, he apologizes to anyone he offended inside the store.
So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It was an accident. It wasn't something that I intended.